I'm going to show you how we can use Spotless data to cleanse a comma-separated variable file. This is a file that I've received that contains information about which shows are on TV. It covers all of the networks in the whole of the country. For the first week in January 2017, we've got the network name, we've got the start period, the stop, the title, and some other bits of metadata around the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to log into Spotless Data. I log in using my GitHub account. I prefer to log in using GitHub rather than having my own account. And when you're logged in, we'll see this My Filters page. Okay. This is where you can upload the file. I'll take that file and I'm just going to upload it. So when you upload a file, you have two parameters you can specify. You can specify the delimiter and the encoding. The encoding, Spotless will attempt to automatically establish what that is, so you don't actually have to specify that. But the delimiter, you do have to specify. It can't tell the difference automatically between comma-separated, tab-separated, or pipe-separated files, but it will support any of those options. Once you've uploaded the files, it then analyzes each column from a sample of different rows in the files to establish what it believes would be the best rules to cleanse that file every time you receive it into your platform. So the kind of thing it's looking for is, what's the data type of the column? Is it a string? Is it a number? Is it a date? Does it look like it comes from a reference set? So, could we create a reference set to look up against? It also looks for things like, unique fields, and it specifically tends to look for session data. Session data is very important in the Internet of Things. There are lots of devices that are creating sessions, and it looks for those kind of fields and will create rules accordingly. Now, we don't expect these rules that are recommended to be exactly right to start off with, but they're meant to provide a good starting point that we can use to modify. So it'll be interesting to see what it makes of this particular file. Just for your information, I think this file was about 35 meg in size, so although it took a little bit of time to upload on this internet connection, it shouldn't take too long for it to create the rules. And here we go. Okay. So what it's saying, it's identified all of the columns. Station name, it's saying is a lookup. I mean, that sounds right. There are only a limited number of stations. It's figured out the date format for these columns. The title, it's basically looking at what length are the strings here. If you're going to be putting data into a relational database, it's obviously important that you set up rules to make sure that your strings are of the right length. I think we're going to be happy to have slightly shorter ones there. You could have much shorter ones there. The year, yeah, let's just put it back to 1900. It just makes it a little bit clearer. And obviously for things like language and genre, we might want to create our own lookup reference sets that we always wanted to make sure it's harmonized against. And we can easily do that. So if we had a genre list, we could just upload that file there. The unique fields list, it's worked out that station name and start time should be unique. That makes sense. There obviously shouldn't be more than one show on a network at any one time. And also, because it's seen a start and an end time, so two fields with a date format the same, it's looked for session rules and it's worked out, okay, the station data looks like it's session-based. And so it's just said, okay, should we do some validation to make sure we don't have gaps and overlaps in it? So this particular data set, I think, we don't want gaps, we don't want overlaps, so I'm gonna keep that going. So we've made a few modifications. Let's hit run and see how well the file does. Okay. So what I've been doing is I've been running this manually on the website. So I've gone in and I pressed the run button. Once you've got something you're reasonably comfortable with, you typically want to integrate it into your own workflow. So if I go back to the filter page, we can actually see some example code here. You can just copy and paste to put this into your own Python script. So every time you receive a file, in your Python script, you can actually send it to Spotless for cleansing before you ingest it into your database or whatever data store you've got. So let's see how this job's getting on. And you can see as each column is cleansed, it comes up here. You've got notification preferences. So, I mean, I normally set it up so that if data is being quarantined, I want to get an email about that, but otherwise I'm relaxed about it. Um, and so we can see here, the end time has been it's been extended and it's been truncated. So that suggests that there are 492 gaps in those schedules and over 3,000 overlapping records. That's pretty bad, actually, I think. So 1.5% of the data clearly has got issues in it, which is certainly less than ideal. So what we typically do in our workflow is if we get that, we'd want to investigate that and we'd want to raise that with the supplier who sent us that particular file. And then the cleanse file we can just download. And then this is the cleanse file where any of those duplicates are removed, where the gaps and the overlaps are all fixed. And then this is the data that we would ingest into our data platform. And that's how we get spotless data. Please go to our website, spotlessdata.com, find out more, sign up for an account.